We got some updates in Rodney Hinton Jr.'s case. I told y'all we're going to stay on this case. We're going to follow this trial. All right, let's see what's going on. What's new to us?
While the Diddy trial seems to be taking up everyone's attention, the trial of Rodney Hinton Jr. continues to gain added layers as a father who is charged with hitting a police deputy with his car the day after his son was killed in a police shooting. Headlines initially reported Hinton had filed a $25 million federal lawsuit claiming he was physically assaulted after police took him into custody on May 2nd. That lawsuit also states multiple officers were present.
Yeah, that's what it was. So Rodney Hinton Jr. now has a $25 million lawsuit in against him. So he's already claiming that they abused him and that they mistreated him. Now, as far as abuse or people putting hands on him or mistreating him, would that be if that was true, would that be shocking to anybody? No. Nobody would be surprised at that. We believe that these pictures and these videos that we're seeing of him, he actually looks good. Because if you are arrested for taking a police officer's life, allegedly, and now you are brought into the system, let alone look how they show their presence and their unity, the band of brotherhood, just in his courthouse appearances, let alone back in the jails and in the hallways outside of the actual judicial process. If they're showing up like this, what do you think he's going through behind the scenes? So when we see these court appearances, this is like, shit, he looks good. We would expect him to look how many times have we seen that? We've seen people look crazy. People coming in mangled up faces at their first early court appearances. And how many times do we hear like, oh, he was resisting and this or that? You ever see those videos all the time where the cops they scream it out because they know that it's like a trick of theirs. I'm gonna say that we're pretty all aware of this at this point. When they beating the shit out of you, or when they got their knee in the back in your back, or in a holding you in certain ways, or damn near about to break your arm or your shoulder, some shit. They saying shit for these cameras or for their own cameras just to kind of justify it. You're screaming out, stop resisting, stop resisting. The guy's already handcuffed, face down. He's not resisting. Why you keep screaming, stop resisting? Why you keep screaming, stop resisting? He hasn't moved. They do that a lot. You know what I'm saying? Gun. There's no gun. What do you mean? I'm not talking about this case specifically, people. I'm just saying, like, we see that footage all the fucking time. So he actually looks great considering. But in one of my earlier videos of coverage here, my opinion was that this case is so high profile and it creates such a big tone of cultural divide, black versus white, father versus the system. Was this child's life taken? Was this innocent life lost from the child? Was it innocent life lost from the police department? Right. So it's a very tense and high profile situation. And my opinion was there's so much visibility on this. The cops actually would have to fall back. This ain't a situation with some random person that we're never going to hear about, never makes headlines, which means that people don't get the opportunity to care about some of these people's situations. We never hear about them. Right. But this ain't that. This is national news. So I would think if you're a ranking officer, if you're the chief, if you come in behind the scenes, you speak to your staff, you say, everybody keep your fucking hands off of him. Not because you guys want to be nice to him, because you realize that this has so much publicity around it, and any misstep on us is going to be elevated. We'll fuck around and you lose your job. You'll get fired behind this type of shit. Little report come out tomorrow that he got his ass whooped, or some pictures or some shit like that, right? Al Sharpton and this community activist and all that, and GoFundMe's will go up, and news headlines and podcasts, it'll go viral. So I think in situations like this, the cops got to say, as much as I may want to beat the shit out of him, I'm being told by my superiors, we got to fall back on this one. This ain't that. The world is watching. So it's got a lawsuit in. That's new. We didn't cover that yet. Okay.
for the hearing, which created an atmosphere of fear, surveillance, and intimidation. Now, if you remember earlier this week, a viral video would show Hinton would be accompanied by several white officers and one black officer. The black officer was celebrated on social media for not leaving Hinton in the custody of only white officers. Now, with more information, it's possible.
I didn't go that route when we broke that down. I'll say it again. I believe if Rodney Hinton Jr. and that elevator would have started fighting and jumping around or whatever, that black officer would have put his knee in Rodney Hinton Jr.'s back just like anybody else. Then on top of that, there's cameras in there. All the police know that there's cameras in there. I think that that's optics. And I think at the end of the day, if you wear that those colors, if you wear that badge, your loyalty is to the other police. They say that's, and no matter what city or state that you're in, the biggest gang is the police force. All right. They have this brotherhood and loyalty to each other. You can't convince me that he was in there for Rodney. I think optics, and I think if Rodney would have popped off, he would have gave it up just like the other officers. You can't convince me. How many people, once again, say that shit? Sometimes these the black cops be the worst, just like the boys in the hood scene. So I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced. I think that's just optics, or he could have just been doing his job normally, just like anybody else. There's no cameras in there. Like you can't convince me like that black cop stepped in and said, "Listen, as far as my other white brothers, I'm here to protect Rodney." I'm sorry, you can't convince me of that. But the optics look great, and I understand how people saw that, and without giving it a second thought, just say, "Black cop in there with Rodney Hinton Jr. He's protecting Rodney." Yeah, all right. Believe that if you want. Okay.
Possible the black officer knew what happened on May 2nd and wanted to prevent it from happening again. A portion of the new lawsuit reads, plaintiff was subjected to physical abuse and courtroom intimidation in violation of constitutional protections. Defendant's deliberate actions caused plaintiff severe psychological trauma, public humiliation, and emotional damage. According to
So all the emotional damage and all that, I mean, like, hey, I don't know. But the intimidation, 1000%. That's the point of it. That's the point of it. Not only do they want to show their loyalty and they want to show their power and their strength, and they want to deter other people from fucking with them. God forbid somebody ever takes action on a police officer. I believe that nobody is above having action taken on them if it's like, for example, self-defense, right? If you're trying to harm my health, right? It's not a police officer's job to just walk up and down the street and beat on people, right? I'm just making some shit up. Let's say you're just walking down the street, mind your business, haven't broken any crimes, you're not being detained, nothing's going on, and a police officer walks up to you and just starts punching on you because he's got a badge. You're supposed to just let that happen because he's a cop. I'm not able to defend myself, save my own life, save my own health. No, nobody is above that. I don't care if it's your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, a cop, the president. Nobody is allowed. I'm not allowing nobody to just say, "Hey, I feel like hurting you today." No, I have an issue with that. It's self-defense time. Okay. Anyway, point being, they band together. They want to deter this people. They want to scare people. They want to intimidate. All of that. It's even intimidation to the court process to me. It is. It's showing even potential jurors, it's showing the judge, all of this. Like, it will create bias. It's gonna, like, if you show up like that and you're outside in that type of police force and you're walking through that in the hallways, you got even jurors that is just like, damn, I don't want to be the one to vote like this or act like this or move like that. And I got these other 1,000 people right now that's staring us all up and down. Like, yeah, I wish you would. It's intimidation, 1000%. And I'm glad that if you try to intimidate somebody, that person is able to stick their chin and their chest out, right or wrong. Because this definitely was intimidation. Definitely was intimidation. There's no skating around that. How about you guys support your brother? But if you're going to talk about due process and innocent until proven guilty, then the people that enforce the law should be the first ones to show that guilty until proven. Innocent until proven guilty. You guys all showed up with all this intimidation, I fucking them and whatnot. Everybody has already convicted them, right? Now you could have your personal opinions, but you guys are the ones that are upholding the law. So you could see this from a whole different perspective when we got to see his court appearance, and there's 1,000 police officers there ice grilling. All right, you guys gonna fuck around and continue to create sympathy for Rod, and there's already a ton of it, but you're going to continue to create more and more sympathy for Rodney Hinton Jr. Okay. And then if he's let off, you guys are going to feel like a whole community of people felt when these fucking cops got off of people like, let's say, um, uh, uh what's dude name? Like, shit, anytime somebody gets off for fucking beating or killing on somebody, or killing somebody, killing a cop takes a life, right? Anytime y'all have gotten fucking just desk appearances or just suspended or the trial came down and innocent of all charges, like anytime it's happened, there's outrage, there's riots. Rodney King, for example, right? Look at that's the one that was popping in my mind. Look at the Rodney King riots or the LA riots. The moment that verdict came down, all right, you guys gonna fuck around, and it's gonna be we're gonna see how you feel. And y'all gonna tear up the streets if he gets found innocent. You're gonna keep creating this sympathy. Go ahead. And then you wonder why the whole cultural divide and the energy is gonna remain like this because whatever.
The NBC News, Hinton is suing for unlawful imprisonment, alleging he was detained unlawfully without due process and without a valid conviction. In addition, conspiracy.
Well, you don't need a conviction to be detained, right? Convictions come after. I don't know if you can sue for being arrested. Um, was he driving that car? So even if it was an accident, which a lot of people don't believe, a lot of people, regardless of what side of the gate you stand on, everybody believes that this was a possible revenge, right? Even the people that are supporting him. But even if it was an accident, I can still see you getting arrested and going through the process, even if it wasn't a cop. You know, you run into somebody and there's a life lost, you might get arrested as things are sorted out. So I don't know about suing for that, but
Conspiracy to deprive rights, intimidation, and excessive force, emotional distress, and breach of oath of office were also listed in the suit. Now, out of the $25 million Hinton is suing for, $5 million is for compensatory damages, while $20 million is for punitive damages. That same source reports the state, the Cincinnati Police Department, and the Hamilton County Sheriff are named as defendants in Hinton's new case. Earlier this week, Hinton pleaded not guilty on 2 counts of aggravated murder, 1 count of murder, and 2 counts of felony assault. Now, in a shocking turn of events, according to local Cincinnati news, while news of Hinton's lawsuit immediately hit the internet, it was later cleared up that the lawsuit was actually filed on Hinton's behalf, not by Hinton himself. His attorney, Clyde Bennett, would reveal a woman from Georgia named Antoinette Holloway filed the suit.
So he didn't necessarily file it. I wonder who filed it on his behalf. You probably got a million lawyers looking at this situation for all different types of opportunities, right? People would love to defend him. It's profile. Even if they have personal angles towards it as well. And civilly, hey man, you know, fuck around and if they beating on you, whatever, hey, let me submit this for you. There's opportunity, right? Let's not act like there's not opportunistic lawyers in the world. But somebody submitted this on his behalf. Okay.
Alleging Hinton's constitutional rights were violated by claiming to be his next friend, which is just a legal term used when you are associated with someone. Bennett would say, I don't know if that person is a friend. I don't know this person who filed a federal lawsuit. Mr. Hinton didn't file a lawsuit. He didn't file a lawsuit. Now, Holloway's lawsuit features several incorrect statements, including claiming Hinton is currently being held in pretrial detention at the Hamilton County Justice Center when he's actually being held at the Claremont County Jail. Local news would ask why someone would file a lawsuit on behalf of Hinton, and local attorney Jason Philbaum responded, either some type of social justice warrior that's trying to make a statement or two, you're trying to get a piece of the pie. It would soon be discovered that Holloway filed 11 other federal lawsuits in Georgia over the last few years, with the state of Georgia, the city of Atlanta, DeKalb County Police, and the FBI being a few named. According to Cincinnati News, all but 2 cases were dismissed. The 2 that weren't are currently pending. The same source would say.
So whoever filed it, their track record isn't the greatest. Their win percentage is actually kind of shitty when it comes to some of these related filings, you know, against the government and the city. 2 of 11, I think it said. And it's not even like, it's just talking about flat out dismissal. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. That sounds opportunistic. I don't know if Rodney Hinton Jr. is the one that's really running around right now saying, "Hey, 25 million because they abused me or I've been hit on." It sounds like somebody's, doing this on his behalf that tends to do similar type of lawsuits and doesn't even win 50% of them. Hmm.
A judge called some of the lawsuits frivolous, implying that the case may not have legs. The local attorney would also speak to the news platform, informing them on the possible results of the case. He said, the judge on his or her own could dismiss the case because it's not a licensed attorney. It's also possible the judge could put an order on that says you need to have a licensed attorney to accept this case, or it's going to be dismissed. Or the third possibility is the sheriff's office is going to file a motion to dismiss, in which you're going to see one of those two actions come from the judge. Typically, defense attorneys in criminal cases don't want civil cases involved because it opens them up to discovery. So, what do you guys think about?
Interesting. Yeah, the mixing of civil and criminal lawsuits at the same time. So you got the ASAP Relly and ASAP Rocky situation that we're seeing today. Dawn Richard takes the stand again against Diddy. She's got a civil lawsuit in that's pending as well or in process right now. And then even in a situation like this, you open yourself up to discovery. So, and that can go either way. That can go either way. Civil lawsuit goes in. If you can get to discovery as this trial is still going on, then there's potential evidence that's being revealed in that civil situation, right? Why can't a lawyer grab some of that and bring that into court? Whether it's, for example, in defense of Rodney Hinton Jr., that actually could be a tactic. Then, no, that could be a tactic. I'm not saying that that's what's happening here, but never thought about that. Here I am arrested criminally for God knows what, right? But if it's dealing with the city or if it's opening up a civil case, of course, the timelines matter. Some of these civil cases take years and years and years. If your trial date is coming up and it's 3 months from now, you might be fucked. But I can see even it being done tactically. Interesting. Okay. Details like that will matter and can matter on both sides, the criminal as well as the civil side. Interesting.
About this new lawsuit filed on behalf of Rodney Hinton? Let us know in the comments below. And stay up to date with the latest news and comedy by subscribing.
Interesting. Okay. So, okay, this $25 million lawsuit is the biggest update in Rodney Hinton Jr.'s situation. We'll see how that plays out, but I also want to keep an eye out for his next court date. Did he already go for bond? And what is his bond even set at? I don't remember us seeing reports on that. It's probably an extremely high amount or no bond at all. Yeah, if they're charging him for taking the life of a police officer, I doubt that he would even be given a bond. So, all right, this is the latest update, and we're going to continue to follow this story in this trial, and we'll see what comes next.